What is up? Welcome, everyone. Congrats on making it this far. I'm really excited to share this information with you because today we are going to be going over your metabolism and how not to completely jack it up. So we will cover how you can eat more and lose more weight and the two different types of diet strategies or the two diet strategies that are actually probably making you fat, and a little known approach that can help you burn more fat, build more muscle, and actually help you repair your your metabolism to keep it healthy. So let's dive into it. So how to not really fuck up your metabolism. We're going to be diving into metabolic inefficiency and flexibility. So this by far has been the biggest challenge to me, and honestly is one of the ones that I see most with my clients I've worked with in the past. Across all fitness, all health industries, we're told to eat less and move more. And it seems like every other day there's a new fad, new diet fad coming up. And honestly, once you figure out how to actually eat for your body and what to do for your body will start actually working for you instead of against you, and losing weight and keeping it off will become a lot easier for you. So just today for the lessons, we're going to be going over how to eat more and lose more, and the two diet strategies making you fat, and the little known approach to actually increase muscle, burn fat, and repair your metabolism. And then we're going to be going in how to actually find your current metabolic rate. So eat less or eat more and lose more, right? Seems too good to be true. So how can we actually eat more and lose more weight? So it really comes down to how our metabolism works, and specifically the third pillar or the third law of our metabolism. There's 5 total, but this one being the law of metabolic efficiency. So this essentially means that our body and our metabolism will do anything and everything to keep ourselves alive, and will adapt to different stressors in your environment. And in our case, that means the more crazy fad, low calorie diets paired with super intense workouts, the more efficient our body will become. And this means that your body will get used to this new lower calories and this new metabolic rate, and your metabolic rate will just significantly and drastically lower the more times you go through this. That's why doing so many yo-yo diet fad trendy things, the short quick fixes, don't work in the long run. It's because you bring your metabolic rate down, and then anytime you get off track, you just gain it all back. And that not only damages your mental capacity, but your body and your metabolism as well. So if this sounds like you, don't worry, it's been me. And nearly every client I've worked with comes to me with a slow and a low metabolism. That's the first thing that we address. A low metabolic rate makes it nearly impossible to lose weight and to keep it off. So we go there first and fix that first. So what really impacts or affects our metabolisms? Well, the standard, things like our gender, our height, our muscle mass, genetics can influence metabolism. But one that really impacts, that we have control over and we can fix for ourselves, is our hormone health and our gut health. And the other things that coupled with that really are sleep and stress levels, and ultimately the exercises that we do can help influence how our metabolism starts to work for us instead of against us. So, maybe it was like a few years, it was a few years ago where I literally felt like I barely ate anything. And if I did enjoy myself, I did eat, a little bit more to fill the belly and not, have something sitting in there, enjoyed, an extra treat or something, I would just gain all the weight back in a weekend. And it would seriously mess me up because I'd work so hard, for 2-3 weeks, be like, okay, I'm just going to this one day or this day and a half, and it would all be gone. I would gain all the weight back. And I really went through this for about 5 years until I decided enough was enough, and I fixed my metabolism. And I'll actually, if you guys have seen it, but it actually was at about 1,600, which at my size, I'm 6'2", about 235, is pretty low for an athlete. So I had to do a lot of work to get it back up to that 25, 26, 2,800 range. So I've been there. But it's when I actually went through and I started focusing on the two things, was first improving my metabolic rate and becoming less efficient, which I know sounds counterintuitive, but trust me, I really wanted my body to get out of that super efficient survival mode and more into that thriving mode where it's like feed the beast, kind of feed the machine and keep it going. And that is what has allowed me to eat more and honestly stay at a lower weight without having to just be on crazy diets eating like rabbit food. So The second thing that I had to do was I had to improve my metabolic flexibility. So I touched on this a little bit yesterday, but after doing years and years of low carb, low calorie diets and overworking myself, like I said, I've literally done them all: keto, paleo, vegan, carnivore, all of them, right? I've done every single diet, every style, 6 meals a day, carb cycling, all of that stuff. Low carb, gluten free, whatever, right? I've done it all. I drank the Kool-Aid of low carb equals fat loss, and it did not end up working. And after years of doing these approaches, it left my body severely hampered and with the ability to process carbs. So I wanted to fix that because I wanted to enjoy foods. Nearly every food has a type of carb with it. So I went to a nutritionist and I was seeking help. I was at my wit's end. I was like, I need help. Someone help me do this. And I was honestly shocked because I had been about 25 grams of carbs, maybe 50 grams of carbs a day. And then the first thing they do is they just went to the textbook answer and, things I could have easily researched online. And they put me back on, a normal carb amount, and I gained all the weight back. I gained literally 7 pounds in a week. And then the second week, I gained another 5 pounds. And this is all while keeping my calories consistent and the workouts the same. So it wasn't just the caloric deficit going on here, because I was at maintenance and I gained all of that weight back. And that told me something else is going on here. I need to figure out what that is. And I know some of you are thinking that's bullshit, but it's not. I've done it, and you can ask anyone who's known me that it's there. It's really what happened. But how I like to phrase it, it's kind of like a machine, like not running a machine or a car for like 5 to 10 years and then letting all the rust build up and then one day turning it on and expecting it to operate at 110%. And it's just not the case. Like there's some maintenance work and some things that you have to do. So all those carbs that I ate couldn't be processed and shuttled into the right location. And guess where they ended up? Yeah, they converted to fat and they get stored right on my gut. So I just literally could not process and utilize and shuttle the carbs where I needed them to go. So when you can't do that, your body's like, well, I got to store them. So I'm going to store them here, which the storage becomes fat. So if this sounds familiar, like this could be part of the reason when you've gone on diets and while you've, minimized your carbs that, when you ate something off plan or off script that you gained 3 to 5 pounds and really kind of like defeated you, right? I will say that there is a little bit of water weight going on with that. I'm not going to lie to you guys, but if you're compromised with the carbs and how you can process carbs, it's going to be hard for you to see any results unless you go low carb, unless you fix that area. So that's why improving your metabolic flexibility really allows you to be better at handling larger amounts of nutrients and switching back and forth between the different processes and different fuel sources that you have, and the macronutrients being such as protein, carbs, and fats. So our ability to be able to switch through and use these things are going to help us. So 2 important pieces, just to recap: metabolic inefficiency. We want to get inefficient. We want a gas guzzling engine so we can eat more food and lose more weight and get out of survival mode with our body. We want to be able to process and use more energy to allow our body to get rid of some of the excess that we have on it. We don't want to be a super gas efficient 110 miles per hour, Tesla hybrid. We don't want that, because that means we're eating just leafy greens and, a nibble of an almond for dinner every night. And if we don't, then we gain the weight back. We don't want that, because we're not going to be able to handle that the long run. We'll gain all of our weight back. And the secondly is getting our metabolic flexibility up and roaring so that we can switch back and forth between the different processes or the different energies that we have in our body being, or energy that we put in our body being protein, carbs, and fats, so we can shuttle them and put them in the right areas. Now, that is why, so if you've seen them before, how can some people can eat anything and look great? Well, that's because they have a crazy, crazy high or highly inefficient metabolism, and they have great flexibility. And then why can you look at carbs and gain weight? That's due to what we talked about before, and that would be that you are not flexible. You just cannot process them at all, and you just get bogged down anytime you eat them. So Now I want to go into the two diet approaches that are honestly making you fat. They are. In the long term, they're just making you fat. And there are actually four approaches to managing your metabolism and different toggles that we can use. So the first being the standard, I'm sure you guys have all heard, the eat less, exercise more. This is the approach that pretty much every single doctor, everybody recommends. And the reason why this doesn't work in the long run is you create too much stress and too much of a caloric deficit, and you get your metabolism working so efficiently that when you get off of the diet, you gain all the weight back. This is why people that do 1,500 calories, like, you're a man, what are you doing? Why are you only eating 1,500 calories? Tends to gain the weight back so quickly, or they have the skinny fat and they have like a pudge going on, but they're eating less weight, they're eating less calories. It's like, no, we got to feed the machine and build the machine and make it more a bigger engine. That the exercise less or eat less, exercise more approach does not do. And then the second one that's really obviously going to be making you fat is the eat more, exercise less. This is just simply calories in, calories out. You're not using or pairing your body with the food that you're doing. Now, those two tend to work in like a cycle together. So right here, we have the eat less, exercise more approach. We tend to hit a diet for 3-4 weeks, lose some weight, can't maintain it, clearly end up breaking and binging, and that's when we revert into the eat more, exercise less. So we go from one extreme to the next, one extreme to the next, one extreme to the next, and that's what creates that yo-yoing, and that's what creates a lot of that havoc and that damage when it comes to your metabolism. Now, the two other approaches are eat less, exercise less. I teach a little bit more about this, but this is more of a recovery, longevity, more internal kind of organ health. Eat less, exercise. This is like the blue zones, if you ever heard of those, where they are just eating less calories, but they're also not doing crazy movements or anything. But the one approach that is actually going to really start to improve your metabolism, get you the muscle that you want, strip off the fat, is the athlete approach. And that's the eat more, exercise more. So what happens here is that you are essentially eating enough food to fuel your workouts and fuel your exercise, where you're able to push the exercise, push the intensity, and then you're creating the caloric deficit from the exercise that you're doing and the type of workouts that you're doing. Now, I got to say, it matters on the type of exercises that you're doing. You can't just be going and jogging for 30 minutes and doing the eat more, exercise more approach and think it's going to work. It's a little bit more to that with the type of training that you're doing in order to get the benefits of this. This approach will allow you to be in a caloric almost maintenance mode, but just below it, to where you're stimulating your muscles by the exercises you're doing to enhance growth, but you'll have that deficit to be able to slowly strip off the fat. And then also what you can do is you start to build up your metabolism by say, hey, this week I'm hitting these workouts, I'm eating at this level, and then after 2-3 weeks, you've seen great progress, and we bump up the calories, the boom, 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 and we can start to really build it back up. That's how we can increase our overall metabolic health, and we really get the results that we want with the fat loss and the muscle building that we want. So that being said, where do we know, or how do we know where our current metabolism is so we can really start to optimize it? So how we can find out where our metabolism is. So the worst, okay, and best method. So we're going to start off with the worst. The worst would be just a simple BMR calculator that you can find really on, if you just Google search BMR calculator. Generally, this doesn't really account for your hormone health, your gut health, as well as like exercise and the movement that you're doing. So it's just like a very rudimentary kind of basic kind of, this is where you kind of should be at. If I took this, used a BMR calculator when I was, like my metabolism was messed up, it would tell me that I would be at, for my guidelines, the height, weight, all that stuff, I should be at 2,500, 2,600 calories, when in actuality, I took a real test, and I was at 1600. So there's can be a gap if any of your previous, like you've previously had a bunch of a lot of diets and things like that, your current metabolism could be off from what the predicted is. So that's why I say it's the worst. Next would be a TDEE calculator. That is a total daily energy expenditure calculator. This is a little better because it does actually account for like how much you're moving and the types of exercise you're doing, but it still just doesn't account for hormonal or other metabolic influences, but does the job quick, but it's not always super accurate. Now, the best would be to go through and use the metabolic rate guide that's in the video below, because this will eliminate all the other factors left out there, like all the other noise that's kind of out there. It gets very specific and very precise. However, it does take a little longer and more effort from the individual. But I highly recommend this method at the start of your weight loss or muscle building effort, because the last thing you want to do is a quick web-based calculator and take it completely as fact, as if your metabolism was perfect and not messed up at all. So you could end up actually doing more harm. So I just prefer not to take the chance. And actually this sets us up for success in the future as well. So what I want you guys to do now is I'd recommend that you go download the guide and start tracking all of your food and what you drink as well, and weigh yourself every single day, and then go through and find out where you're at right now. But how do you know where to start? Like where should I start to eat? That's why what I want you to do is I want you to actually use the TDE calculator to get a very basic general guideline of where you should be at. And then over the course of the week, as you start to find your metabolic rate, then we can get it super dialed in and make adjustments based off the guide. So I personally know what it feels like to put all your energy and effort into losing weight and getting in shape and not seeing the progress that you want, and due to having a crappy metabolism. And that's exactly why I want to provide all these trainings and all these resources and progressions for you, so you can really start to take back control of your metabolism, so you can achieve your goals and the weight loss goals that you have without having to only eat rabbit food and feeling deprived all the time. So this is literally why I created this stuff inside of the Brotherhood, because I was tired of seeing people honestly just unhappy and not knowing what to do with their body and following shitty advice. And it would only make them fail in the end and feel like they're a failure. And that sucks, because I've been there, and it really does suck. But I want to see each and every one of you win and feel like a fucking champion, honestly, and start to reclaim your life and reclaim your body. And that's honestly why I've made all of this. So everything you're going to get everything that's here. And if you want to join our squad and gain access to this program right now, to our exclusive membership sites with all the trainings, all the details, all the ongoing workouts, the exercise demonstrations, the techniques, the workout progressions that get you physically and mentally ready, the weekly Zoom mobility series to really start to help unlock your imbalances and start to be pain-free, and the nutritional aspects and hacks and things that I've put together for you. All of this, you want it right now. It's not going to cost you $5,000. It's not even going to cost you $2,000 or $500. And what I could easily charge for this, because I've literally charged that before in my one-on-one clients, but I'm giving you to this for $30 a month. That's only $1 a day. Why? Is because this is for people who want to change and are motivated to achieve it. And I want to see you succeed. So let's do this. Let's click the link below, and I'll see you on the inside. Other than that, I want to see you get and start tracking those videos, download the guide, but I'd rather see you inside the group. So click that link and join us today, and I'll see you in tomorrow's training.